It's HIMSS 2019 right here from Orlando, Florida, as we welcome you into CommonWell TV. Scott Adams here with you as we're introducing you to some of our CommonWell Health Alliance members. It's time now to hear from Health Gorilla and their CEO and co-founder, Steve Yaskin. And Steve, CommonWell recently announcing the incorporation of CommonWell connectors into the networks. Explain what this means and what your organization's role ties into there.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here, part of the CommonWell Alliance. I think we've been very excited to become a member of CommonWell Alliance for the past year, and equally excited to be a connector, one of the first connectors actually for the CommonWell community. I think the whole premise of the Alliance is to expand interoperability. I think we all have a common goal as CommonWell Alliance members. By definition, interoperability cannot be solved by a single company. Therefore, Alliance is the best vehicle to expand interoperability as much as we can. As individual members contribute to the Alliance, we all overlap somewhat, but it's a friendly Alliance. And the goal is to expand interoperability and bring enough of their own unique features to the Alliance. And being a connector adds tremendous ability for us to bring new members on board, bring new healthcare institutions as well as other members to join the Alliance. And that's a common goal.
Maybe expound on what interoperability means to Health Gorilla specifically.
Absolutely.
And what it means to your clients.
We are about 5 years old. Okay. We started as interoperability solution at its core, and I can't say we're the smartest people in healthcare by far, but we got somewhat lucky because we were able to predict that interoperability will become one of the biggest challenges as the industry switches away from fee-for-service to improving outcomes and value-based healthcare. And years ago, we saw inability for health organizations, payers, doctors, and patients to aggregate entire clinical history in one place, as probably will become the biggest challenge, and it became a reality. And organizations like CommonWell and interoperability overall today is one of the biggest challenges for the entire industry we're facing, and we are very excited to be part of the solution.
Well, CommonWell has seen some obstacles that they've been able to overcome over the past 6 years. If there was maybe an immediate challenge perhaps facing right now, what would you say that might be?
I think it goes with the entire industry trend. Initially, there was a lot of resistance to interoperability. We've been operating kind of a status quo mode for the whole industry for many years, for decades. And it took a lot of policy changes. It took a lot of industry changes in terms of financial incentives to large organizations to start thinking in terms of clinical data is not an asset anymore. It's actually a competitive advantage to share the data. Until that happened, we all went through some pretty interesting challenges in trying to solve the interoperability. And I think we still have a long way to go, but over that initial hump. At least everybody understands it's a problem and it needs to be solved. And to solve it, we need to become more interoperable, and ONC is doing a great job in creating new policies for us to follow. I saw a tweet yesterday when the ONC office said you're complaining about reading 10,000 pages of new regulations. Think about writing that, right? I wanted to add that think about implementing that now for Healthcare Alliance, for all the members here. We have to put it to work, and it's pretty big change, and we're very excited about that. And it definitely furthers the cause of CommonWell Alliance and each individual member, the new regulations.
Speaking of furthering and not just getting things domestically, but even beyond that, your work in Puerto Rico recently.
Yes.
Maybe you can share with our audience what all that entails.
Absolutely. We are a startup. We have investors. We kind of in a hyper growth mode right now. So we have quarterly revenue results just like everybody else, and we are responsible for our board, shareholders, but it's been our passion from day one, underserved communities. We started working in Puerto Rico before Hurricane Maria hit. We've done some groundwork, and during the hurricane and right after, we came back and we saw the devastation that hurricane created, and we're trying to contribute as much as we can in terms of healthcare and triage on the field. There's still people missing from the hurricane all this time later, and we are definitely have our eyes on preventing the same outcome. It's just a matter of time when the next one hits. So we are hoping to bring a lot more effective triage and healthcare, and interoperability is an essential part of that. You collect all the records, you make sure the continuation of care exists when there's no power, no cell access. And Puerto Rico had a terrible disaster happen to them, but at the same time, when we came back after the hurricane, we had a clear opportunity to start with a clean slate. We started from zero ground. We went in, we are aggregating majority of the federally qualified clinics and payers and health systems now on the island, and we're looking forward to replicating that in U.S. Virgin Islands. Is another community badly devastated by the hurricane, and improving the outcomes in those communities, and then taking it back to the mainland. There's a lot of underserved communities in this country in particular that don't have proper access to the healthcare.
So from the mainland to globally, what sort of trends are you seeing from a clinical interoperability scope?
Very interesting question. Again, because of our size, we're not that big yet. We're hoping to get there very soon. We're growing tremendously. But we've been focusing on the United States primarily. But again, being a small company, you have more opportunities to look at. And we had an opportunity present itself in Latin America, and we embraced it. And one of the reasons I was very interested in going south of the border, so to speak, is verifying, is it a global problem or is it specific to the United States, to this country? And we discovered, well, there are very different reasons for interoperability to be in other countries as a problem. Overall, they have the same issues. Identity verification, aggregation of the data, providing better outcomes to the population. So it is a global problem. And hopefully we're creating a set of global solutions here. Each country is very different in terms of privacy of the records. As you know, GDPR in Europe, Latin America has its own set of regulations. So it's hard to adjust and bring that solution to each individual market, but the basic overall problems are identical. People are people. Chronic disease is the same, spanning the borders, doesn't care which country you live in. And I think one of our goals is to make it a really global solution.
Now a year into their CommonWell Alliance membership, it is Health Gorilla. And for more on them, we welcome you to jump on to CommonWellAlliance.org. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you.